The individual ledgers are one of the 3 trust account documents you must reconcile monthly. There are 2 types of individual ledgers, the client ledger and a bank charges ledger. An IOLTA will have a client ledger for each client's funds and 1 bank charges ledger. Let's take a tour of the client ledger. At the top of the client ledger, you record certain permanent client information that you enter when you take a new matter. This information will not change until the matter is closed. Selecting the current month and year can help ensure your client ledger is up to date. Let's look at the columns. They describe every transaction in detail: when, who, how, why, and how much was involved. In the State Bar template, you'll see an asterisk in each column that is specifically required by Standard 1A. The other columns are added as best practice. For more information about what information is recorded in each column, refer to the Account Journal video. Note that unlike the Account Journal, which has 2 reconciliation columns, there is only 1 reconciliation column in the individual ledgers, and that is reconciled to the Account Journal. This column is used during the reconciliation process to check each transaction to the Account Journal. The Account Journal and the Client Ledger contain much of the same information. However, they serve 2 different purposes, and you must maintain both of them. Why? 1. Both documents are required by Rule 1.15. 2. If you keep an account journal but don't maintain client ledgers and a client asks for an accounting, you will need to prepare a ledger for them. 3. If you don't keep client ledgers, you can easily misappropriate one client's funds for the benefit of another. You still must maintain an account journal. Otherwise, you won't know how much money is in your trust account at any given time, and errors will be nearly impossible to find without both an account journal and client ledgers. Now that you know the importance and function of the client ledger, let's look at the first transaction. The first transaction was a deposit on January 8, 2024. When? The date your client retained your services and you deposited their advanced fee payment. A check from R&W Development. Who? Check 6101. How? In the amount of $2,500. How much? Which is an advanced fee payment that is documented in the purpose column. Why? Since this is the first transaction in this client's ledger, the current running balance matches the deposited amount. Let's add a new transaction. You file a complaint in South County Superior Court on behalf of your client, R&W, and issue a check from the trust account to pay the $320 filing fee. Let's record when the disbursement took place. Next, let's record who the check is disbursed to. How did the transaction occur? What is the purpose of this transaction? How much is the transaction? The running balance is automatically updated. You may add information to the notes column. One feature of the State Bar's template is that it's formatted to print a version you can send directly to your client at a moment's notice. Simply press the Control and P buttons. The notes and reconciliation marks are omitted. Sending a monthly statement to your clients is a best practice, which fosters communication and builds trust with your clients. There is one other type of individual ledger, and that is a bank charges ledger. A bank charges ledger is identical to a client ledger and accounts for all bank charges paid for by your firm. It is necessary to track firm funds used to pay fees to account for every penny in your IOLTA. If your bank does not charge any fees for your IOLTA, or bank fees are withdrawn directly from your operating account, a bank charges ledger isn't required because you would not keep any firm funds in your trust account. For non-IOLTAs, interest is paid to the client and all bank fees are attributable to the client, so no firm funds are kept in the account. As part of the monthly reconciliation process, you'll reconcile all of your individual ledgers to your account journal and to the bank statement. For more in-depth information about trust account record keeping and reconciliations, you may take the State Bar's Practical Trust Account Reconciliation course.